Very good morning to one and all, and a warm welcome to all the listeners of this session. In the previous class, we have started discussing about the command lines in Python, and we have seen about somewhat about string codes. So we will complete the command lines in today's session, and then we can see the things regarding control statements and control statements in Python, right? So as all we know that command lines play some important role in programming. So for example, in Python, if I have written something like this, something like print of good morning. So if I run the code, I am going to get good morning as an output. Now, if the person who don't know about the Python, if he observes this statement, he does not know anything about this statement. For example, if I have written, right, if I have written something called as hash, this is used to print, this is a Python program to print good morning in the output, So now if any person comes and if any person sees the program, immediately he understands that it is a Python program. And this program is used to print some good morning in the output screen. So without seeing the code, he or she can say that this program belongs to a Python language and it is used to print something on the output screen, right? So by using these command lines, we are able to explain our program, right? By using these command lines, we are able to explain our program. So in Python, these command lines generally are of two types. The two types of command lines are block comments and inline comments. So block comments and inline comments both are going to be started with this hash symbol. So if you write the comment like this, it is called as block comment. And if you maintain the same comment along with the line, then it is called as inline comment. Just a second. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. And now block comments and inline comments. If you maintain these comments, we can maintain these comments anywhere in the program. If you maintain these comments without having our programming statement, then it is called as block comments. And if you maintain the same comment, right? If you maintain the same comment along with a line of our programming code, then it is called as inline comment. So here in Python it does not Python is not going to support the multi-line comments. If you observe the C program or C++ or Java, if you want to write a single line comment, we use double slash. So we can write our comment with any number of words in a single line. And if you want to write a comment in multiple number of lines, then this double slash will not work. We have to go for the multi-line comments, which will start with slash star and ends with star slash. So here, whenever the C compiler or Java compiler observes double slash symbol, it is not going to compile that entire line. It is not going to compile that entire line. It will leave that line alone. And at the same time, if the compiler observes star slash, so now the compiler wants to find where the if the compiler observes slash star, now it will find where the star slash is located, and in between those slash star and star slash will not be compiled by the compiler. So when we use the double slash means we are telling the compiler not to compile this particular line, and it is a single line comment. When we are writing something called as a slash star and star slash, we are telling the compiler, do not compile the things in between these two, right? So here in Python, it is not going to support the multi-line comments. It is only supporting a single line comment, and single line comment may be of two types, as we discussed earlier. A block comment and an inline comment, right? And there is one more thing called as Python doc strings, right? There is one more thing called as Python doc strings. What these doc strings are called as, see this one, documentation strings are called as doc strings. Documentation strings are called as doc strings. See here, so typically speaking, these doc strings are not comments, right? These doc strings are not comments, right? They create anonymous variable with reference the strings. Also, they are not ignored by the Python interpreter. See here, when we write hash something, it will not be interpreted by the Python interpreter. That means it will not be compiled and it will not be executed. But if you maintain doc strings are not ignored by the Python interpreter. So which means doc strings will be compiled by the Python interpreter or will be interpreted by the Python interpreter, right? Doc strings are interpreted in Python. So when we create a doc string, a string with anonymous variable will be created, right? A string with anonymous variable will be created. So how we can define doc strings in the sense, if you want to define a doc string, use triple quotes, use 3 pairs of double quotes, and at the end also use 3 pairs of double quotes. So in between these doc strings, we can write the text whatever you want. So these doc strings are also two types, right? These doc strings are also two types. The two types of doc strings are single line doc strings and multi-line doc strings. So Python do not support multi-line comments. So if you want to write a comment in multiple number of lines, it is suggested that to use this multi-line doc strings, right? So let us see this one. If you want to write a single line doc string, use the 3 pairs of the quotates, and if you run this one, you don't get any output for this one. And similarly, if you want to write a multi-line also, you can use this doc strings, right? So If you want to define a single line comment, better to go for this hash symbol. It will not get interpreted. And if you want to define a multi-line comment, better to go for this multi-line docstrings. So this is all about comments in Python programming language, right? This is all about comments. And with this, we have completed the unit number 1. And I request if anybody is having the doubts in unit number 1, so please raise your hands. I will revive the topics what we have discussed in unit number 1. So the first important topic we have discussed in unit number 1 is that algorithms. And the second topic is that modern computer systems. And the third topic we have discussed here under the modern computer systems, we have discussed about hardware architecture, and we have discussed about data representation, and then we have discussed about the software and operating system. Next one, we have seen about the installation of Python. And then we have seen about some basic syntax in writing the Python program. And then we have seen about how to write, how to save, and how to run a Python program, how to save, execute, or how to write and how to run a Python program. Along with this, and then we have started discussing about the language. That is, we have started with the data types, right? And then we had discussed about variables in the sense immutable and mutable variables. And after that, we have discussed about operators in Python. And we have seen about this precedence rules and associativity. And finally, we have seen about command lines. So these are the topics which are there in unit number 1. And almost we have covered all the topics in unit number 1. So if anybody is having any doubts in among all these topics, so can you please raise your hand? We will clear the doubts, and after the clearing the doubts, we can move to the unit number 2. So I request if anybody is having the doubts, please raise your hand. I will unmute you. After clearing the doubts, we can move to the next one. Okay, so if there are no doubts, so let us start unit number 2. Under unit number 2, so we had the first topic. Yeah, okay, 513. 513, please unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Docstrings ఒకసారి చెప్పరా?
Docstrings. Okay, so see here. Docstrings are not command lines, right? If you write something with this triple double quotates, right? If you maintain something here, that is called as a docstring. So it may be a single line or one line docstring, or it may be a multiple line docstring. So generally, because the Python do not support the multi-line comments, we are going to use this multi-line docstring in order to represent a multi-line comment in Python. So in previous programming languages, they are supporting some multi-line comments by using /* and //, right? And in Python, it does not support multi-line comment. So because it is not supporting multi-line comment, we are going to use these docstrings in order to comment something in the program, right? And one more person, 516. 516, please unmute yourself.
సార్ ఇన్స్టాలేషన్ ఆఫ్ పైథాన్ లో కమాండ్ ప్రాంప్ట్ లో చెక్ చేసుకోవడం ఒకసారి చూపియండి సార్.
Installation of Python, checking in command prompt. Okay, simple. See here, go to command prompt. So if you open your or if you go to search box in your Windows 10 and if you type cmd here, just a second, the system is a bit slow. Right, if you type cmd here and if you press enter, then we get a black color window which is called as command prompt, and if you type Python here, and if you press enter, then we get something called as Python 3.9.5, which is telling that a Python has been already installed in your computer system where the version of Python is 3.9.5, right? So if there is no Python installed in your system, right? If there is no Python installed in our system, then we are going to get a comment like see this one. So then we get a message like this: Python is not recognized as an internal or external command. So if you have a Python, you will get the Python with version name, and if you don't have a Python in your system, then you are going to get Python is not recognized as internal or external command, right? So this is how we can check whether the Python was installed in our computer system or not. And then Aditya 420-4420.
హలో సార్, అది ఫస్ట్ యూనిట్ మెటీరియల్ సార్.
మెటీరియల్ నేను ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తాను.
ఓకే సార్,
ప్రిపేర్ చేయలేదులే, నేను అయ్యాక చేస్తాను.
ఓకే సార్. ఇంకొకటి, మీరు పైథాన్ ఇన్స్టాలేషన్ చెప్పారు కదా సార్, అది మీరు ఆన్లైన్ కంపైలర్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారు కదా?
అవునవును.
ఇంకా ఇలా పైథాన్ యూజ్ చేసి
ఒకటి ఇక్కడ నా సిస్టమ్ ఎందుకో సపోర్ట్ చేయట్లేదు, ఆ సెట్టింగ్స్ ఏదో నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు, సపోర్ట్ చేయట్లేదు, అందుకని ఆన్లైన్ కంపైలర్ యూజ్ చేస్తున్నా, లేకపోతే నార్మల్ సిస్టమ్ లోనే చెప్పేసేవాడిని.
అంటే ఫర్దర్ కూడా ఆన్లైన్ కంపైలర్ యూజ్ చేస్తారా?
లేదు, మీరు ల్యాబ్ లోకి వచ్చిన తర్వాత ల్యాబ్ లో సిస్టమ్స్ ఏమైనా వర్క్ అయితే ల్యాబ్ లో నార్మల్ గానే చేపిస్తాం. అందరికి ఆన్లైన్ కంపైలర్ అంటే మళ్ళీ అందరికి నెట్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయాలి, డిఫరెంట్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ కదా. నార్మల్ సిస్టమ్ అయితే చేపిస్తాం, నో ప్రాబ్లం. అంటే క్లాసెస్ ఆఫ్లైన్ క్లాసెస్ స్టార్ట్ అయ్యి మీరు అందరు ల్యాబ్స్కి వస్తే కనుక నార్మల్ గానే చేపిస్తాం. అవసరమైతే ఇన్స్టాలేషన్ కూడా మీ చేత చేపిస్తాను ఒకసారి. మనకు టైం ఉన్న దాన్ని బట్టి అవసరమైతే ఇన్స్టాలేషన్ కూడా మీరు నేర్చుకుందరు. ఇన్స్టాలేషన్ నేర్చుకున్న తర్వాత చేతులుగా టైం లేకపోతే డైరెక్ట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ చేద్దాం.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
నెక్స్ట్ వన్ 4234.
సార్, ఇన్స్టాలేషన్ ఆఫ్ పైథాన్ పెద్దగా ఉంది కదా సార్, అది మొత్తం చదవాలా సార్?
మాది టాపిక్ ఏం కాదమ్మా, అది నీకు ఎగ్జామ్ లో కూడా మాక్సిమం 99% రాకపోవచ్చు, ఓకేనా? అదేంటంటే మనందరం సిఎస్సి స్టూడెంట్స్, మనందరం కంప్యూటర్స్ మీద బాగా ఫెమిలియర్ గా ఉండాలి కాబట్టి ఒక సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ని ఎలా ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలని చెప్పేసి అదేదో టాపిక్ ఇచ్చాడు కాబట్టి డిస్కస్ చేసాం, ఓకేనా? అది జస్ట్ ఏంటంటే పైథాన్ అనే దాన్ని మనం సిస్టమ్ లో ఎలా ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకుంటాం అంటే, దాన్ని చదవాల్సిన పని లేదు అసలు. నీకు ఒక సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఒక 4 or 5 సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ నీ సిస్టమ్ లో ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసి చూడు, నీకే ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. ఒక సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఎలా ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి ఈజీగా అర్థమైపోతుంది. ఓకే, అర్థం కోసమే చెప్పింది కదా. ఓకే, రైట్. Still, if anybody is having the doubts, you are welcome, and if there are no doubts, we will continue to the unit number 2. Okay, now let us start unit number 2. Unit 2. So here first, majority of the unit 2 is going to concentrate on control statements in Python. So let us start discussing about what are the control statements, and before going to the control statement, let us discuss about what is sequential execution, what is iterational execution, what is branching execution. So I want to show you with one image. Yeah. See here. Okay, so see this one. I want to zoom. So let us see what is sequential execution, what is conditional, or we can call it as a branching execution, conditional, or we can call it as a branching execution, and then what is looping execution. So for example, in my Python, not only in Python, in my any programming language, let us consider C programming language. So if there are some 7 to 8 statements, so the statements may be of anything, something called as printf, or something called as void main, or int a comma b comma c, or c equal to a plus, whatever it may be. If there are 8 statements in your program, either it is a C program or a Python program, so if the programming execution is statement by statement, for example, let us assume any program will start executing it from main method. So if let us assume that in the first line we have a main method in C programming language. So after executing the first line, the C compiler is going to execute the second one. After completing the execution of second one, it is going to execute the third one. And after the third one, it is going to execute the fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth and so on. So it is called as sequential execution. It is called as sequential execution, where the program will be executed in order. So line number 1, line number 2, followed by line number n. So coming to the conditional or branching statements, they will not execute the program in a sequential manner. They are going to change the way of programming, way of execution. For example, we already had some statements called as if else, while, do while, for, and switch, etc. So let us assume that there is an if condition at line number 3, and there is an else condition at line number 5. So if is true, then let us assume fourth line will execute it, and when if is false, then it is going to execute 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now here, depending upon a condition, if the condition is true, then the program execution order will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And if the condition is false, then the program execution order will be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So here the execution order is in two ways. If the condition is true, the first 4 statements in the program will get executed. If the condition is false, other than fourth statement, remaining all statements will get executed. So this type of execution is called as conditional or branching execution. So this conditional or branching execution in C programming language is possible by using if, or by using if else, and by using if else ladder, and by using switch case, right? Switch case. So along with that, let us see about the looping execution of statements. In looping execution of statements, let us assume we already have, we are very familiar with some looping statements such as while, do while, and for loop. So let us assume at line number 3, there is a condition called as while. There is condition called as while, and we have taken n greater than or n less than 5. We have taken n less than 5, where the value of n equal to 0. We have declared an integer with n where the value of n equal to 0. And at line number 3, we have written n greater than 5. And then we have written printf CSC here at line number 4. And at line number 5, we have incremented the value n plus plus and remaining 6, 7, 8. Now, what will happen is the program execution order will be 1, 2, 3. Third line will get executed. After executing the third line, because the condition is true, it is going to execute the fourth line, and then it is going to execute the fifth line. After that, again, the line number 3, 4, 5 will get executed, because we have taken n equal to 0. 0 is less than 5. The condition is true. Because the condition is true, we will enter into the loop and we will print something on the output screen. After printing something on the output screen, we have mentioned n plus plus. So the value n equal to 0 will get incremented to 1. And again, we check the condition, that is 1 less than 5. If we check the condition, which means we are executing line number 3. If again the condition is true, it will execute line number 4 and 5. And again, the condition will be checked. So 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, it will be executed 5 times. And for the 6th time also 3 will be executed. And now if the condition of 3 is false, then it is going to execute 6, 7, and 8. So this is the execution order for the looping statements. So we execute some statements, and depending upon a condition, if the condition is true, until the condition is true, we are going to execute a group of statements for multiple number of times. And if in case if the condition is false, we are going to execute the remaining part of the program, or we are going to quit the program. So remember these 3 execution orders: sequential execution order, conditional or branching execution order, and looping execution order, right? And then let us check what are the flow control statements in Python. See here. Flow control statements. In Python, flow control statements are categorized into 3 parts, or 3 categories, divided into 3 categories: conditional statements, transfer statements, and iterative statements. So in C programming language, we call these control statements are divided into 3 categories. Those are conditional, and then iterational statements, and jump statements. Conditional, iteration, or jump statements. See here, the conditional statements can also be called as branching statements. Iterational statements can also be called as looping statements, right? So the examples of conditional statements are if, right? If else, and then if else if, or if else ladder, and then nested if. And the things under these iterational or looping statements are called as while, and then do while, and then for loop. And under jump statements, we have break, we have continue, and then we have something called as return. Sometimes return is not called as jump. Okay, leave it. So this is all about we have studied in C programming language. Conditional statements are categorized into, or we can call them also flow control statements also. Control statements are categorized into 3 types: conditional or branching, iterational or looping, and jump statements. So here, what the conditional statements will do is, depending upon a condition, they will execute one part of code or the other part of code. So if the condition is true, one part of code will get executed, and if the condition is false, another part of code will get executed. That's why we had two branches here. That's why we call it as branching statements, right? And along with this, in C programming language, we have forgotten, we have one more conditional statement. It is called a switch, where in switch, we take one condition. Depending upon the value in the condition, we have multiple number of branches, 1, 2, 3, and so on, n. So depending upon this condition, any one branch will get executed. So it is called as multi-way conditional statements, and it is two-way conditional statements. So if else, and if else if, all these can be considered under two-way conditional statements, whereas switch case can be considered as multi-way conditional statements. And under the iteration and looping statements, we have while, do while, and for loop. So these iterational statements can also be categorized into two groups. That is pre-test conditional, pre-test iterational statements, and one more thing is that post-test iterational statements. Pre-test and post-test. So if a loop, for example, it is a loop, if this loop is executed after checking the condition, then it is called as pre-test. If this, after executing the loop, if we check the condition, then it is called as post-test. So under pre-test, we have while and for loop under pre-test. Under post-test, we have do while. So in do while, first the block will get executed, and then the condition checking will be done. And whereas coming to the jump statements, we have break, continue, and return. So I explained this one because you have to remember all the topics you have discussed, you are discussing in classrooms from the last 4 or 5 months. I think you all are very familiar with these names, right? Now, let us have a look at the flow control statements in Python. See here, in Python, conditional or transfer, we call these statements as jump in C programming language. So apart from C programming language, it is an extra. C programming language does not support this pass statement. And at the same time, in Python, if you observe this one, there is no switch case in Python, but we can implement switch case in another way. I will explain it later. Okay, there is no direct switch case in Python, right? And then under iterational or looping statements, we have for, while, and do while in C, but unfortunately, do while is not there in Python, right? So apart from these three differences, there is nothing in theory part when compared with C programming language. So in C programming language, in theory part, if you are perfect with if you are perfect with if else or nested if or if else if or break or continue or while or for, then 90% of the control statement theory part will be completed. A programming will be a bit different. The syntax will be different. The syntax in C programming language is different from the syntax in Python programming language. I will show you the syntax, don't worry. But keep the things in your mind. So Python do not support switch condition directly. So Python is having one more jump or transfer statement, that the name of that one is pass when compared with C. And Python do not support do while. Python is having only two iterational statements, that is for and while loop. Okay, so let us start discussing about each and every one in detail. So let us start with if condition. So let us see how an if condition will be by using a flow chart, and then see here. So if condition, there we write some condition here. There we write some condition. If the given condition is true, then certain block of code will get executed. If the given condition is false, right? If the given condition is false, the remaining part of the code will get executed. For example, here I am explaining about simple if, what you have studied in C, simple if. It does not have else, right? If the given condition is true, some statements will get executed. After executing the statement, we execute the next lines of the program. For example, I have multiple number of lines of program, and if I have a condition here, and if the condition is true, this particular line will get executed, right? So if the condition is true, we will execute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 6 lines will get executed. If the condition is false, it is going to execute 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 3 will be skipped. So when the 3 line will be gets executed if the condition is true. So that is this third line. If the condition is true, it is going to execute the third line and then the remaining lines of the code. If the condition is false, it will not execute this third line and it will execute the remaining lines of the code. So let us see the things in the program. Right. See here. For example, I have a variable a where the value of a variable is 10. I want to check whether the variable is a positive number or negative number. So what I have to do if I want to check it as a positive or negative number, if the given value is greater than 0, it is a positive number. If the given value is less than 0, it is a negative number, right? So I am going to write an if condition. If a greater than 0, we have to use colon here, right? We have to use colon. The syntax is a bit different. Greater than 0, print. What we have to print? If it is greater than 0, we have to print it as positive number. We have to print it as positive number. See here, if you write the same if statement in C programming language, we have used if, and the condition was represented here. If a greater than 0, and we have represented an opening braces and closing braces for if it contains multiple number of statements, and if it contains a single statement, we can represent without using these braces also. Okay, so Python do not have these type of opening and closing braces in order to represent a block. Then how can we say, I will show you with some explanation. For example, I want to print positive number, and after that I want to print something called as CSC. So if you write the same code in C programming language without blocks, if the condition is true, then it is going to print positive number. If you maintain a starting block here, and if you maintain an ending block here, if the condition is true, it is going to execute the 2 statements or the n number of statements which are represented in the block. But Python do not support these type of blocks. Then how can we represent a block in Python? The concept is called as indentation. Remember the name, indentation. Very, very, very important in Python. So indentation means the space. See here, I want to represent it as a block. The if condition, if a greater than 0 is towards left, and the remaining 2 statements are a bit right to the screen. So which means I am maintaining some space. So this space represents some block. It is a block. If I want to end the block, I can simply go to the starting point in order to represent the new statement. So if I write something called as print AIML, now these 2 statements are under the block of if condition, because we had maintained some indentation here. It is very important. In order to represent a block in Python, we have to maintain indentation. And if I run the code, if you observe, because the a value is greater than 10, it has printed positive number, it has printed CSC, and after printing, then we had executed the remaining part of the code. That is, it has printed AIML. Now, let us check this one. What happens if I maintain else here? If I maintain else, I need to, as I said earlier, indentation is very important. I need to maintain a bit space in order to represent this particular statement belongs to else block. Okay, now if I run the code, I am going to get positive number and CSC, because the if condition is true, it is going to execute this block. If condition is true, never the else will be executed. In case if I have maintained a value as -10, now if I run the code, I am going to get AIML as output, because we are checking the condition a greater than 0. The value of a is -10, -10 greater than 0. So the condition is false. If the condition is false, it will never enter into the loop. If the condition is false, it will search whether there is an else block in the program or not. If there is an else block in the program, it will get executed. If there is no else block in the program, the remaining statements in the program will get executed automatically. So this is about the if condition and if else, and how the if and if else will work in the Python programming. Okay, so with this, I am going to close today's session. I will explain some more programs with if condition and if else condition in Monday session. And if anybody is having the doubts in control statements, can you please raise your hands? Anybody is having doubts in control statements up to now? We have discussed about if only. Okay, then I'm going to close the session and we will meet you on Monday. Thank you very much for being here.